and they're lovely and twisty. The grip's amazing. Oh, I love this car. I love this car. Hi guys, Alex, Peak Performance Reviews. Welcome to another vlog and welcome to another video. Today's video is, you'll see, the Suzuki Swift Sport here again, the one that we dynoed and made 141 horsepower with 260 newton meters or 259 newton meters of torque, which is amazing considering they're meant to be 235 newton meters of torque and the horsepower is meant to be 127. But this made over that, and we also knew or know now that that wouldn't have run the hybrid system during that pull, because you have to invoke it into all-wheel drive, an all-wheel drive mode to make it then think that it needs to put the hybrid system on. With that means that you could add an extra 10 horsepower on top of that comfortably, and another, you know, probably 10 newton meters, 10-15 newton meters of torque as well, maybe even 20 newton meters. So the net result is it's amazing. But in today's video I want to really go through the fundamentals of living with the car, how it is to live with, and all those little good bits. So yeah, without further ado, let's get on. In general, I say this is a nice place to be. Lovely flat bottom steering wheel you'll see here, and the general quality in here has, I'm just going to start it up, has gone up a lot from previous times. As you'll see, I've been getting, and I have been driving this very hard throughout the week, around 42 mile per gallon. That's pretty much the worst I have seen in this car so far. In general, it tends to do anywhere from 45 up to around 50. I've been getting 49 on long runs, and you can see over 50. I did mention that it's got this lovely Apple CarPlay. It also does Android Auto as well. Most of the time, like any computer infotainment screen, I find that almost when it gets warmed up, so to speak, and it sometimes is more responsive on the touchscreen, but in general, there you go, it's actually really decent, very responsive. It tends to be very responsive, and in general really nice. 7-inch display. It's very intuitive, very simple to use, and it's very nice. Heated controls all on these rotary dials. Again, really simple to use, and in general the interface is very simple. It has one drive mode and one drive mode only, and that is obviously sporty. It has these quick buttons down here, which is just the traction control, auto start stop off, and some other little lane assist and things like that on one touch button, which is really nice. Loads of modes until you get used to it, and you've probably driven it for about a week. There's again lane keep assist on and off, really simple, and the rest is quite straightforward. It has the speed sensing or distance sensing cruise control, which is really nice, as lane assist, roads traffic sign recognition. It's got loads of little bits. Again, I will show you a little bit more in the bio as to what this has, but it has so many options as standard. Yes, look, and I've seen other companies reviewing these, or reviewers reviewing these, and they're saying they're no frills and basic. The leather steering wheel is lovely. The general feel of the interior is nice. Yes, it's not like something like you'd find in a 40,000-50,000 pound car, but it feels like it's something that you'd find in a 30,000 pound car, and this is 23.5. So it's nice. It's a nice interior. Now with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and this beautiful 6-speed gearbox, and the general chassis on this car, it is a triumph in my opinion. So like I say, on my big review you'd have seen in general what I say about this. The figure hugging bucket seats are beautiful, and in general as a place to be, to live in, it's absolutely awesome. Anyway, enough gabble, let's go and drive it a little bit more and talk a little bit more about how we've found our time with this awesome car. Now, I did say if I had this car for longer I was going to do more 0-60 times. Now the weather is really nice, and it was better than last time because we had a damp road before, so it'd be rude not to do some more 0 to 60 time. So let's make sure traction control is off. There you go. Let's build up the revs. Loads of wheel spin. It's 1 degree out, to be fair, so. So I would imagine that there's no way that's better than the 7.8 seconds, I think, that I've got before in this car. So that was 8.3, not bad considering the huge amount of wheel spin we definitely had there. And let's give it another go. Keep traction control off because I think hopefully our tyres are nice and warm now. Let's do it again, off the handbrake. Tyres suitably warmed up, let's have another go. Let's get a bit more straight actually. It's you know, not easy. No car to get 0 to 60, and manual gearbox car is ever easy to get a good 0 to 60 pull. Anyway, that felt decent, but there was a bit of wheel spin through both gears. I bounced off the rev limiter once as well, so whether it was any good I don't know. But let's have a quick look. That one was 8.1 seconds, so it is proving hard to get anywhere underneath the 7.8 that I got once. So let's have one more go. Let's off the handbrake, I always think is the best. Get engagement. That was good. A little bit of wheel spin again and a lag. Felt like a good run, but there's just 2 bits again that weren't perfect. It was just gear change not perfect, a little bit of rev bounce through gear changes, and also a tiny bit of scramble. If you get that perfect and there was a lot more heat out here, it's 1 degrees outside and 0 degrees real feel, so it's hard conditions. But I thought I'd give it another go. I actually just done a 7.89, so we got I think 7.85 before, so can we get it in the 7.7s? I feel like we definitely can, because it's that chirp between gears that would be the difference between it being a 7.8 and maybe a 7.7, or at least maybe even a 7.6. But I don't think any faster than that. Get some bite. Not too much And one of the big problems with any car that does 0 to 60 is if it runs out of gear in a certain gear and you've got to change again. So this has to go through, it feels like at least, it has to go through 3 gears. So it's not easy to get a good time out of this. This is good. Now, the problem is now, that was a little bit uphill. Now, if that was straight, flat, that would have been the best time I reckon I would have ever got in this car, because that felt amazing. But let's have a look what time that was. It was 7.85. Honestly, but it's uphill, it's valid, but uphill. Let's do one more. I think if we can get this in somewhere, it's only going to be a 7.7. One more go, right, for Suzuki. Lag. Bit of lag through gear change, otherwise very good. Yeah, that's a shame. That was a 7.99. It's easy to get this in the 7s, I'm not going to lie, very easy to get it in the 7s. Okay, right, let's go one more time. I'm enjoying this, but I want to be mechanically sympathetic to this awesome car. Right, here we go. Good, but yeah, not everything right on that either. We're definitely going to call it quits. Let's see what that was and what the final 0 to 60 time is of this car. Yeah, so that was an 8 flat. I mean, this car is awesome. Repeatability of 0 to 60s and everything this car does is just fantastic. I did say on my review, if you hadn't watched it, like I say, top right hand corner for you now, this car comes with a 7-year warranty, and that's one of the other amazing things. This is a Japanese built car, and a Japanese car, but actually Japanese built, that comes with a 7-year warranty. Really well built, and it's kept its value from even the old, you know, days, so to speak, or like, you know, 5 years of old. If anything, I think this had a price reduction. I'm sure these went up to about 24 and a half, nearly £25,000, and they are £23,500. So other cars like the Fiesta ST, the Hyundai i20N, the Fiesta ST obviously is discontinued, but that was nearing £30,000, and now the Hyundai i20N is around £29,000. So it's a lot more of an expensive car. It covers ground definitely quicker than this, the i20N. The Fiesta ST, in my opinion, not so much, but this definitely feels not a million miles off those kind of cars. I did say this before, which means that actually on paper it seems like it's so far away performance wise from things like the Fiesta ST and the Hyundai i20N, but it's actually not. And in 0 to 60, it kind of proves that. Things like the Fiesta ST, 0 to 60s in the low 7s, late 6s, mid 6s, proven from what I've seen from tests. So yes, they're quicker. There's no doubt about it. They really are quite, you know, proper raw hot hatches. This is like a kind of lukewarm to hot hatch, but really decently quick. And the crazy thing about, and the difference between something like this, is the Fiesta STs and the i20Ns, they do 30 miles per gallon, give or take. They can do 35 miles per gallon, but you've got to drive them really, really carefully. But in general conditions, when you're driving relatively fast on short runs, they do no more than about 30 flat. And sometimes they'll even dip in the 29s, 28s without too much of a problem when you're really giving it some. This car, if you drive really hard like I have today, will do between 41 and about 42 miles per gallon, which is mind-blowing, thanks to that little hybridized system and the really nice, silky smooth, beautiful engine that is in this car. This 1.4 litre turbocharged engine is absolutely sweet as a nut. And it's just awesome. Like I say, over the space of like say a year, you're going to be saving thousands of pounds in fuel costs, and you think you won't notice it. But for example, I kind of compare this. I don't compare it to my RS3, but I have an RS3. I would be going to the pump 2 times over what this car is doing, which is crazy. So it genuinely will save you a lot of money at the pumps, and taxation's very low, and you've got a car that gives you all of the feelings that you will get from a really high-end hot hatch. And that's what I like about this car. The balance of everything it does is just so good, and it's still relatively practical. And for a new car that comes with a 7-year warranty, it's cheap. I don't care what way you look at it. £23,500 for a brand new car. If you're thinking about getting a brand new car and you want something really decently fast, that has a fantastic fun chassis that does 50 miles to the gallon if you drive it careful, even a little bit more, then look no further. And the chassis on this thing is just sublime, and these roads are awesome. And honestly, the chassis on this car as well is just pretty much second to none. The roads around here are gorgeous, and this car is just phenomenal. And it genuinely feels like a really quick car, actually. I say really quick car. It's not like, it doesn't feel like a 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower car, but it really gets up and goes like things like the Fiesta ST and i20N. It doesn't genuinely feel that much slower than them. It just doesn't, and I don't know how, because this feels like it, you know, or on paper has so much less power, but like I explained before, it probably hasn't. But it's still, I think, punch is so far above its weight that it feels really quick for the power that it's got. It just feels so impressive. And you'll probably find that's probably down to the fact that actually something we haven't talked about, it has a lot of torque. It has about 179 foot-pounds of torque, which I think is about 230, 240 newton meters of torque and loose change. So that's a lot of torque. Let's say for a 1.4 litre turbocharged engine, untuned, unopened, it's a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque, should I say. So it has a lot of pulling power, and because of that, in this light chassis, it basically punches far above its weight, and it does feel like it's a lot quicker. So it really is a fun, sprightly motored car, and around these lovely country roads, as you're doing 40 to 50 mile per gallon, it does a great job. It really does. Brakes are superb. I think I said that before in my drive. It's just such a fun car. Say, it's just got everything. Like I say, it's got this fun chassis that wants to rotate and wants to turn, brakes that match the performance, a subtle enough ride when you're going around country B roads, 0 degree temperatures today, and it just absolutely eats up the mileage and these little roads. Watch the cyclist as we go past. Honestly, I could drive this car all day, and I probably am going to today because it's winter in the UK, and normally that means it's super cold, or sometimes, or a lot of the time, wet. Look at that little, oh, it's just so sprightly. And these little roads are mad, these little back roads, but these kind of roads, you've got to just be a bit careful just in case there's other cars coming the other way, because they're tight, but I can see nice and far ahead of me, which is good. And they're lovely and twisty. The grip's amazing. Oh, I love this car. I love this car. Over some compressions there. The suspension does a great job of getting back in check, resetting the suspension, and now the roads get really tight, so we're going to slow it down. And after that, it's like what I always say, guys, if you've got any questions, hit us up, because there's probably some things that we have forgot, but I feel like that's the general synopsis of kind of our drive. It's just been a really good daily wagon. I've even had a car seat in the back for my little one. She's a little 4-year-old girl, and she loves the car. She commented that she loved the car as well. My other half absolutely loves it as well, and basically said, again, someone who drives very sporty cars, 400, 500 horsepower cars, like myself and my partner, you drive this and you just don't feel like you're missing out on anything. You don't feel like you're shortchanged, or it doesn't wow you like those kind of cars with that kind of power, and you'd think it would. But this is what I'm saying as a reviewer and as someone who owns these crazy cars with a lot more power. It just proves that you don't have to have that. You don't have to have that much more power. This is a really, really complete car. It's a really complete package you can live with on a daily basis, doing 40 to 50 miles per gallon. Realistically, if you drive it careful, 50 miles per gallon, 48 to 50 miles per gallon all day long. And if you drive it really careful, you can get over 50 miles per gallon. If you drive it like an absolute hoon, like I've been doing all day today, 40 to 45 miles per gallon. That is, just take that in, that is phenomenal. Anyone that's owned sporty hot hatches will know that that is phenomenal. And this car is simply amazing. It really is. So that is the end of our video on the Suzuki Swift Sport Hybrid. And yeah, what I haven't said already, I do not know. Basically, I've covered it in the in-car, but I love this car. I loved it in the first place, but to have a little bit more time with this car around these amazing roads in lovely conditions, dry conditions, albeit 0 degrees. The grip levels, just even when it is really cold. I've had it in the wet as well, which you wouldn't have seen, but obviously I've had this car for a week. I've lived with it for a week. It does 50 mile per gallon easy. You can even make it do a little bit more than that if you're really careful. But if you drive it really, really hard like I do in general, it does between about 41 and 45 miles per gallon, which is crazy. Low taxation, 7-year warranty, built in Japan, amazing chassis, suspension incredible even on lumpy bumpy roads, brakes really, really good, and infotainment system and tech on the car for a £23,500 car, it is amazing. Decent boot space, or good enough really for that kind of small car, and to live with, it's been incredible. It's hauled myself and my family around everywhere, and I adore it. I think it's such a good car. If you're thinking about a car and you wanted to see this review on it, I guess, to see what it's like to live with, rest assured you're going to love this car. If it's on your radar, go test drive it first. I would be very surprised if you don't love it like I do, but £23,500, go and get one. Honestly, these are the best car for me for that money by an easy margin, and I absolutely adore this car. Links in the bio to everything, and if we haven't covered anything, obviously having it a week, we're going to know all the ins and outs of the car. So if you've got any questions, hit us up. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, like, share, comment and subscribe. We'll see you again on the next one. Bye for now.